love Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
That's right, everyone. This is State of My Sports, and this is episode 128. Before we get into the big 7-0 matchup in state, Michigan State, we're obviously going to unpack a couple games. We got the Stafford matchup and Michigan's win against Northwestern. That sealed the undefeated rivalry game here this upcoming Saturday. We'll do our best to preview the Michigan State matchup and point out the key matchups heading into the game and give our predictions as well. During our Betting Hero segment, we are going to make our picks against the spread, and of course, we will grade some Michigan beer from Siciliano's Market. If you are joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, please let us know in the comments and be part of the conversation. Give us your prediction, and we got some questions up there for everybody to jump on board. Start out with letting us know what you guys are drinking tonight. We're about to let you guys know, so do that. Before we jump in, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that help keep this thing rolling and free for our listeners. The Hops Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports. Siciliano's Market helps us pick out our Michigan beers for each and every episode. Mac Web Design helped us get our website up and running. BettingHero.com helps us and you get the best promotions available in the sports betting world. So please check out all of our sponsors and let them know that we sent you. I'm Sam Waldhart. With me today we got Micah Smith and Ryan Waldhart. We're missing two, but you guys are probably used to that by now. I know that we are. Some really crazy things. So I didn't want to get into some Pistons and Red Wings first. But before we do that, there was some big stuff that happened nationally that I think are worth just kind of chatting about just for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
What
do you want to talk about?
I wanted to start with the Penn State, was it Illinois?
Oh, my God.
The Penn State-Illinois game. And
why don't we follow it up with his presser? His presser was bizarre today.
I heard that. That is absolutely, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Wait, is that game over? Did that actually end?
It did finally end, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're not. Yeah. So the score's got to be in the 20s at this point, right?
Yeah, so like, I don't know if the people saw that or not, but what was it, 9 overtimes?
9 overtimes for 2 points.
For 2 points. So, yeah, so for the people that, this was news to me.
Same here.
Overtime rule. I knew they changed the rule, but I thought that they just went to, so like for the people that don't know what we're talking about. Basically, back in the day, last year, and previous years, I think it was the third overtime.
No, I think this is the second year they've been doing this.
Is it really?
With the 2 point thing?
I thought this was the first, but I could be wrong.
I heard second year.
But anyways, what they're doing now, or what they did was after touchdown number 3, you had to start going for 2 to try to get one team to get 2 points and the other one wouldn't, and to kind of prevent touchdowns and just field goals and all that stuff. But now they just basically go to your old NHL shootout, and it's just 2-point conversion after 2-point conversion, back and forth.
Nuts.
Back and
opposite ends of the field.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing is like, so if you get to choose if you're going to go first or second, you're obviously going to choose to go second. Well, then the other team's going to choose to go the direction they want to go. And it switches literally every single time. So,
and is it from the 5?
I thought it was from the 3.
It's from the 3, yeah. It's the standard
Okay.
2-point line there. But
what do you guys think of that way of doing it? It was fun to watch. I mean, if it was
drama, tons of drama.
If it was 2 good football teams, it would have been really fun to watch.
Tons of drama. There's just I've never seen such bad play calls, right? Like there was no creativity. They're like
no creativity.
Dive to the right, dive to the left.
Yeah.
Execution's bad.
It was absolutely insane.
Throw it away.
Yeah, it was. I think there was a couple times that they did. Like it was bad. It was really bad. But eventually Illinois upset Penn State. And
that's big, man.
That was big. Big for the Big Ten. It actually looks bad for the Big Ten. You don't want to see one of your top teams
for sure
go down to one of the bottom teams. But, I mean, yeah, and then the press conference today. So, obviously, the rumors are swirling in the Big Ten about if any of our coaches are going to get poached to LSU, who's going to be replacing their coach. We talked about Mel Tucker's stuff last week, but James Franklin's a part of that conversation as well. He's also been mentioned with USC.
Yeah.
He fired his agent 2 days ago, I think.
What?
And he got on board with a new agent who's known to be, the big guy that gets all these deals for coaches. A lot of SEC coaches work on, and I wish I wrote down his name at work when I heard it, and I forgot to
So
put
what
it on
you're
the show
saying
sheet.
is he's probably gone.
Basically it's pointing in the direction of he's either going to work a new deal at Penn State or he's jumping ship. And the funny thing is he had a press conference today, and somebody asked him about the LSU job. And what was it exactly? I wish I had the quotes exactly what he said, but it was funny because he goes, I'm really just focused on the next game against Illinois this week.
Oh, he did say that?
He's really focused on Illinois. And then
my gosh.
later on, he was talking about, it's really hard to go to the big house and win. So he mentioned the big house, and they're playing Ohio State this week. Like,
holy cow.
How focused are you, James Franklin? You don't seem very focused. You sound
not
like
locked in.
You sound like me trying to pull names out of my hat, like on the podcast or something. Like just saying the wrong stuff left and right. Coaches can't do that.
The man's got 9 toes out the door.
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
That was pretty eye-opening. Now, if I were LSU, I wouldn't want him. I think he's a good fit for more in USC, personally, because he kind of has a little bit of that swagger. And I think that's how he's getting such good recruiting classes at Penn State. I think
if there's something that he
USC.
can do is definitely recruit. It's been bizarre, his lack of success with all of those recruits. I mean, if I don't know, he's number one going into next year, right?
Yeah, I believe he does.
I mean, that just doesn't
happen.
happen. That doesn't happen if you're like a fluke on the recruiting trail. So he's obviously getting these commits. And I don't know, convincing them that he's the right coach, so he might be able to do the same thing out in the coaching market.
Yeah. Now, not to take the easy way out, but do you kind of look at that USC job thinking, we could be one of the 2 lone wolves out there in the Pac-12, with you and Oregon out there? I mean, maybe Chip Kelly and UCLA maybe poses a little bit of a threat, but other than that, I mean, James Franklin or Mel Tucker. I mean, Mel Tucker hasn't been linked to USC, but so we'll just say James Franklin for now.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be more appealing to kind of go out to USC?
I would think so.
Hey, you can kind of take the bull by the horns out here and really run with this program.
I think he would have a better shot of being, the best team in the conference doing that. He's not going to go. He's not going to go to the SEC and be the best team in the conference at least until Saban's gone. Not even the best team in the division, right? But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see, and then like the whole carousel of, who's moving where, what school is going to be in what conference here. The carousel slowed down, but it's still moving, and things are going to be happening. And I think USC could actually be a team that goes into the Big Ten eventually. People have talked about that. So I mean, time will tell. But another thing that happened, we talked as Miggy was kind of getting ready for his 600th home run that he hit this year.
500.
500.
600th. Or no, 6,000 hit?
2,000.
No.
Sorry.
Nope.
2,000
He's
hit.
gearing up for 3,000
I thought it was
hits.
600 home runs.
No. 500 home runs. He's getting close to 3,000 hits.
3,000 hit, not 2,000.
Yeah, sorry.
Man, we were wolfing it up. It's all right. It's been a day.
Yeah, just let me know, guys. Let me know when you need some support for baseball stats historically. I gotcha.
But anyways, we talked about like the return for that type of ball. And then Tom Brady actually this week got his 600th touchdown. And it was funny because it was Mike Evans, right? Got the touchdown.
Yeah, he gave it away.
Gave it away in a hurry.
Yeah, and then the fan actually gave it back pretty quick, too. I guess there was a little bit of back and forth, but eventually they settled on him giving the ball back. And I'm curious what you guys think. I'll go over what he got in return. He got a $1,000 gift card to the Buccaneers Pro Shop or whatever, so you can get a jersey and a half, I think. He got some helmets and some jerseys. He got 2 season tickets for the rest of this year and next year as well. And then Tom Brady was actually on the Madden cast, or not Madden, the Manning cast last night on ESPN.
Yeah.
And he said that he also gave him a Bitcoin, which is worth like what, $64,000 or something like that? Isn't that what it is? Or 60 somewhere
roughly.
around there.
Yeah, 1 Bitcoin.
So he gave him 1 Bitcoin as well. Do you guys think that the guy got enough for that, or like what would you have done?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you look at what the Mannings were talking about because they were joking around. He's like, "Oh man, he is terrible at the
bargaining.
Like he had so much power that he just gave away so early. He's like, oh, what a noob. Like he clearly didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
he could have gotten a lot, man.
Yeah, so there were some auctioneers or whatever, like the people that kind of authenticate that kind of stuff, were saying anywhere between 500,000 and 750.
Which means it would have gone up to $1 million.
Yeah.
You put it on the market?
Yeah. People would have absolutely loved that. And now this guy's, he's looking like an idiot not getting. I mean, look, the return's cool. I mean, it's not a terrible return.
Yeah.
But when you think about someone handing you $500,000 and then selling it back for $65,000, or let's say $70,000 when the tickets are in there, it's like, wait a second, you didn't do a very good job. So I don't know, I thought he was a little bit of an idiot on that, but
good guy though.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, good for him. If it were me, I'd be like, no, this like you just handed me my ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is a big deal, and I think Andrea would probably lock me out of the house if she knew I gave away $500,000 for 100.
This is paying off my house,
or for tickets.
But you go right to your
what?
Yep.
You can go to your wallet and you could say, look, this Bitcoin that I'm not holding right here, might be worth something more.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
In 2050.
Yeah, just wait till that happens. But also, real quick, some Michigan stuff. Pistons, still no Cade Cunningham. They're 0-3. They lost 94-88 to the Chicago, 97-82 to Chicago, 122-104 to the Atlanta Hawks. Lack of scoring seems to be what's going to hurt this team. Obviously, they were missing Jeremy Grant last night as well.
Yep.
But, I mean, can Cade come in and kind of fix that scoring hole? Like, what are you kind of feeling here?
Yeah, I mean, the offense is going to be way better with Cade just because he handles the ball. He's a decision maker. He gets the ball, and now the whole tempo of the offense can run around him. Right now with Killian Hayes, it's so predictable. They bring the ball up the floor. He stops. He waits for everybody to get to their sets. He calls the play according to what his coach is telling him to do, and then they move around and they start doing their play. That's okay for half-court offense, but that should not be your primary route of scoring or like your best option. If you look at any good team, Hawks included, that we just played, like their scoring is authentic. It's creative. It comes out of nowhere. It comes with the opportunity in front of them. And if your point guard is not capable of creating that and scoring on his own when he needs to, if he's hesitant, if he's not confident, then you cannot beat a team scoring 122 points out of your half-court sets every single time. That should be when the defense is fully set every time. But if you have an advantage, you have to take advantage of that, like 4-on-3 or 5-on-4 or whatever it is. Take advantage of that. Go get an easy bucket.
Yeah, what do you think about Killian Hayes? Like, just it's early. I don't want to go overboard with that, but a lot of the people that are talking, they're saying, like, this guy looks awful. And he hasn't taken the right step heading into this year.
He looks awful because of his demeanor on the court. His trust in himself is zero. Like he is playing to not look bad, to not lose the respect of his teammates. He's worried about everything else except for playing basketball.
Okay.
I still believe he has a good jump shot. I think he can be a really good shooter in the league. I think he can be a really good creator in the league. He does not have it mentally right now. He's 21 years, I think he's 20 years old.
Yeah. And
it could be because he's 20, but my goodness, like, you're in the league, you should have a confidence level, a belief in yourself, and he does not have that.
Yeah.
So if he can ever get that, I'm not saying he's not an NBA player, but right now, the way he is right now is not good enough, and it will cost this team a lot of basketball games.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, Red Wings, after back-to-back losses prior to, was it Sunday night? Lucas Raymond actually had a hat trick, his first career hat trick. He was the third Red Wing to do that as a teenager. Only to, I don't know if you've heard of the other guys that got it, but it's Steve Yzerman. Have you ever heard of him?
Does not ring a bell.
He has the same name as Stevie Y, right?
Yeah, he's the GM now. Yeah,
okay,
I don't know if you guys are. Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for bringing that up. I couldn't remember if I heard it. And then the other one was Gordie Howe.
No, I think it's Ho, but
Gordie Ho. So pretty cool that he got the hat trick. He's been looking good, and he's putting up points. And when you're producing in the NHL, I mean, just just keep an eye out for that. It's pretty dang cool. I'm not going to say he's going to score 3 goals for the rest of his career every single game, but man, it's fun to watch. And that first line is clicking. Bertuzzi, Larkin, and Lucas Raymond, they are something to deal with right now, and they're really fun to watch.
It's looking nice.
It is. Hopefully we can get some more secondary scoring and keep up this nice little. 3-2-1. I think they are.
Yep.
You'll take that. You'll take that here.
Wait, so you like the way Larkin has been playing with?
I do.
More talent around him.
I do.
Oh, awesome.
It doesn't mean he deserves the C. I would look good playing with those guys.
I love it.
Maybe.
It. No.
Stop our leader.
You're right. It's
there.
fun to watch though.
It is. It is time to introduce our Michigan beers for this episode, but before we do, I want to remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They are simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley State University's main campus and downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for that. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beers from across our great nation, they are individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack. They obviously have a great selection of craft beer. They also have specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. Siciliano's Market also has the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family, and it is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beers for each and every episode. So please check them out and let them know that we sent you. So I noticed that Brittany was watching. I don't know if she still is or not. It doesn't tell us when people stop. But anyways, she left this in my fridge, so I was like, I'm gonna take it. She said she would. She's gonna drink.
Good?
She said she would drink it Saturday. I was like, if there's any left. So, anyways, I'm bumming a beer off of her. I'm drinking Good Session IPA from Greyline Brewing Company. Greyline is her home, basically. She lives 3 doors down from it, so that's one of our go-to places. That was the first place I was ever a Mug Club member too.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, they have those really nice black.
Those black metal
yeah,
cards.
Black metal cards. Those are sweet. Those are really
A
nice.
little weight to them. Makes
yeah.
you feel like very important.
Yeah, it took up a lot of space in my wallet though.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what I'm drinking so far. Obviously, Session IPA. You can't go wrong with those. But I'll give it a nice grade at the end of the episode. Ryan, what are you drinking?
Oh, it caught me off guard. I didn't know this was going to happen. Voyager, New England style IPA from Arvon Brewing Company. Did I recently do this one, or did I do the double?
I think you did the double. I think
that's
you did
pretty
the
cool.
double last week.
All right.
So that's why I gave you that one.
Oh, nice. And you knew that, and I would have. That was my test.
Yep.
So I passed.
You did. It's because you listened, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why I knew that. Yeah, good beer for just being a single when they have a double and a triple, right?
Yeah, there's a triple in the fridge.
Yeah.
I wonder what you're drinking next week.
Looks like the triple, right? This is very. You cannot see through this.
No,
Let's just
it
say
is
that.
hazy.
He's going for the cycle.
Micah, what are you drinking?
From Austin Brothers Big Merc. It's their triple New England style IPA, 10%er. It's got insane amounts of Citra and Cryo Citra hops. So I'm excited to grade this one at the end.
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
It wasn't just another game for the Lions last week. They lost to someone named Matthew Stafford, who leads the Rams to a 28-19 win.
It's decent.
After a 10-0 start and aggressive play calling, the Lions gave the Lions a 10-0 lead before Stafford even got the ball. Goff had respectable numbers, going 22 of 36 for 268 yards. 1 touchdown, but the 2 interceptions played a role, especially the one in the end zone, while the Lions were only down 8 midway through the fourth quarter. Swift had 144 total yards, 48 rushing, 96 through the air, and Williams had an additional 57 yards on the ground for 105 rushing yards between the two. Khalif Raymond had a really nice game with 6 catches, 115 yards. They kept it closer than people thought. They were very competitive, but when all said and done, it's another loss. And it's just going to be the story of this team. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about them too long just because we're going to keep saying the same stuff about Goff and about the coaching staff, but we can't let it pass. You know, Stafford did what he does. What did he have? Did I even put the numbers on here?
I think it was something like 323 yards. What?
I'll help you out.
Yeah, pull that up.
3 touchdowns.
Are you starting to get concerned at all?
Concerned with what? The mental state
the
of the
mental
Lions?
state of this team, the mental state of these players, and just.
I think first of all, I think our coaching staff did a really good job with this game. They were clearly lacking the talent that they could not match the talent that the Rams had on the field. Everybody knew that going in. That's why the spread was so crazy. But they were ready to play, and they took a jab at them, and they got up 10 points really early, and they didn't back down, and they had another field goal to go up 10 multiple times in the game. But when it came down to talent on the field and execution, long haul, it played out exactly like we thought it would. Goff didn't do it, and Stafford did.
Yep.
And those big plays, the third and 12 down the stretch, that was so key. What did Stafford do? He put it right on the receiver down the field. Like we used to see that all the time.
Yeah.
And
we don't
somehow
have anybody
lose the
that
game.
can throw like that other than Jack Fox at this point.
Right, exactly. Just that one guy. That's all we have. But
what were Stafford's numbers?
Stafford was 28 of 41, 334 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
No interceptions.
No interceptions.
He did. I mean, yeah.
I heard a stat where Stafford throwing for over 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's the third time this year that he's done that. And in his whole career with the Lions, he did it 5 times.
Holy smokes!
So that just
Are you
shows,
serious?
that just shows the efficiency that dude is playing with right now on a team that has the talent around, has the coaching around, the established repertoire that they have. He's doing it game in, game out.
I think Stafford has had the wide receivers to work with. I think Golden Tate, when he was in his prime, he was good. Obviously, Calvin Johnson is Calvin Johnson. Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, they were all good enough. They were probably, I think, the tier that he's working with right now with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. I think that's a very I don't think that that wide receiving core is that much better. What he has for the first time is a coach and a scheme that matches what he's doing. And I don't know if they're allowing him to make adjustments and be more aggressive on his own, but you're seeing the difference between a really good coach in this league and what Stafford's dealt with his whole career. And it was just a revolving door. Different offensive coordinators, different head coaches. That's the stuff that Stafford was dealing with. I don't care about talent necessarily. He just didn't have the right coaches to put him in a place to succeed. I think that's the thing that's not being talked about enough.
And I completely agree with you, because when you remember the Stafford from the Lions, nobody ever questioned his ability to look down the field and make something when nothing was there. We would see him make these incredible throws off of the linebacker's fingertips and through the middle and to Golladay more recently and Calvin back in the day. But he was also that guy that, when you needed him in the fourth quarter, he would throw the ball and get a 50-yard play just randomly, and you just knew it was going to happen. We knew that the 30-yard play was available when it was 4th and 17. Mm-hmm. You knew that was not out of – all he needed to do is get out of that first part of the initial pocket, buy some time, and now he has the ability to look down the field and make those plays. What you're seeing now is the Rams scheme, like what you're saying with the coaching. They're scheming these guys open so that, the first play is almost always going to work. But when that doesn't work, he goes to this second and third option and buys a little bit of time, and his eyes are down the field. He's not constantly under pressure. He's not constantly having to do that over and over again. And then they don't follow that up with 2 basic running plays to put themselves in another third down. This is a really well-coached team. They know what they have with the offense, and it's clicking right now, and it shows.
Yeah, for sure. I did want to talk about how the Lions got to...
Yeah, we're talking more about the Rams, I guess.
No, right? But I want to talk about how they got that 10-0 lead. I think that's really eye-opening, and it's going to kind of all come together when it comes to the aggressive play calling, because I feel like a lot of people want it 1 minute, but then they don't want it the next. They're praising him when it works, and then second-guessing the play calling when it doesn't. So let's talk about how we got to 10-0. We got the ball, went down, got a touchdown, right? Or we didn't actually go down, but we had that big play, the Swift 68-yard touchdown, 66 or somewhere around there.
63-yard touchdown pass.
Yard touchdown pass. That was a great play. Love to see Swift get into space and see what he could do. Real quick, Swift had an incredible game. And it wasn't just the numbers. The way he ran, he was the one competing and leading this offense just on his back, I think. Was putting up a big fight, which was great to see.
Williams too, man.
But then
that's a good combo.
After the touchdown extra point, they snuck that onside kick. And that was awesome. That's the kind of stuff that people are like, yeah, you got to do that for this type of game. Be aggressive. Let's do that. I think we got a couple first downs. Then they got to fourth down, fake punt. That was one that Jack Fox threw it, right? And then we ended up getting the 3 points. It stalled out like the Lions do. But, I mean, aggressive play calling.
We had another one. We had another fake punt
later on. I actually missed that. I don't even remember when that happened. I don't remember. I was probably going back and forth to the grill or something. But yeah, people love the aggressive play calling when it works. And what we saw there, it worked. They got exactly what they needed, the 10-0 lead, and obviously they lost it. But then later on in the game, when I think it was a 4th and 1, in field goal range, you're down 1, I think, right? You were only down 1. You could have got the lead in the field goal. Quick, they rushed to the line. The play call wasn't perfect. It didn't really work that well. I thought Hawkinson kind of missed his block, it sounds like.
No, I think they were down 6 because they could have brought them within 3.
Okay.
Right? Because later on,
I thought
they would have been within touchdown range.
I thought they were down 3. Or, sorry, down 1. They had a chance to take the lead. They eventually did take the lead, but then ended up being down 8. So that's why I had 1 in my head, because they got a touchdown and a field goal to
they
make
were
it
down 9.
8. Okay.
Anyways,
doesn't matter.
We don't know.
Yeah, I guess, well, Mike is like...
You guys got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter. Eventually,
radio.
he, in a nutshell, he passed up points in a crucial situation to be aggressive.
Not the
and that's
first
what
time.
people that's what people are hating on him for. And that, yeah, exactly. That's not the first time he's done that. Where do you want to plant your flag on the aggressive and stupid? Is he getting too aggressive to a fault?
I think.
Okay. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, so I think he is aggressive right now to keep his locker room. And so your question earlier about, what's the mental state of this team? That's where I think it is. They want to go out there and compete to win. They don't want to just go out there and play good football because that's what you're supposed to do in a field goal scenario. No, he's telling them by going for all these aggressive plays, he's telling them that I believe in you guys. Go out there. I'm going to give you every opportunity to go out there and win the game, even if you're outmatched, even if we're behind and we don't deserve it. We're going to go, get the onside kick. We're gonna play with the fake punts and everything. I think players respond to that, and the fact that they stayed in this game for as long as they did, and they were leading this game for as long as they were, to me that just shows that he hasn't lost the locker room. These guys are still playing hard. You saw in the fourth quarter, they're still making plays. They're trying. They're hitting hard. The defense, I know they didn't stop the Rams, but the defense has really been making these other teams earn every single point that they're getting. Not the
Other
one
than the
game.
Bengals.
Not the Bengals.
And that's another thing that was nice about this is the way they responded from the Bengals fiasco, because that was as ugly as it gets.
When you look at the Bengals and what they've been doing, they're a really good football team, and people were not giving them the credit they deserve.
Yeah. And
we actually held them to decent numbers when you're talking about their big playmakers with Jamar Chase and some of those other guys.
Yeah.
They didn't go off as much, I guess, against the Lions as they could have. And I think this defense has really responded to the coaching with a lot of talent that's out right now. And then I think on the offensive side, you know how I feel about Goff. I don't think he's the answer. I think he's actually the problem. And that's hard for a coaching staff to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And the players on the field, they all know it.
Yeah, and they
don't act like they don't know that.
Yeah. Do you think they need to make a change for the team's sake?
No.
Or you think sticking with him, even if they know he's not the answer, that's what this team needs to hear and see?
Yeah. I mean, you go with Goff. Your backups are not anything special. What's his name from the Packers?
Oh, and then Boyle, who's still hurt.
Tim Boyle's still hurt. He's our primary backup. You don't just go bench a guy for a third rounder when I think Jared Goff is exactly where we thought he was in the beginning of the year. When the rankings came out and it said Jared Goff is the 34th best quarterback or 32nd or whatever it was.
Chris Sims or
he's
whatever.
He's not the worst quarterback in football right now. He's not the worst starter. He could go to the Broncos and make them a better team probably. He could go to the Jets and make them a better team right now. He could go to Chicago and make them a better team. But he is not a good elite quarterback, not even middle of the road. So he's somewhere where we knew exactly where he was. Yeah. 23, 24, somewhere around there. And with a franchise that just has such a gap between talent on the field right now compared to the other teams they're facing, he's not good enough to make up the difference.
So the trade deadline is a week from today. Obviously, we're not looking to buy anything, right? We don't want to give up assets for a player by any means. What do you want the Lions to stand pat? Or do you look at it as almost like an opportunity to be like, all right, Swift is having a good year. How many years are we away? I think that's what we have to figure out. And that what this regime needs to figure out is because are you willing to pay Hawkinson? Is Hawkinson going to stay? Is Swift going to stay? Is Swift still going to be legit or good in this league when you're ready to win? Or is it an opportunity to say, hey, we struck gold with these guys. They're both good players on no matter what team they go to right now. Is that an opportunity to bring in more assets, bring in more lottery tickets, bring in more picks, and really do this rebuild the right way? What do you think about that? I don't want to give up on Hawkinson and Swift. I love watching them. I like both of them a lot.
I agree.
But I see that I wouldn't be angry if that's the decision that they made, because 2 years from now, when these guys are up for a new contract, or next year, whatever it is, I haven't looked at their contract. It's like, do they want to stay? Do they want to get paid? You know what I mean? Like that's a tough situation.
I don't think you give up on these two specifically. I think they're great building blocks. They're not who you're going to build your team around. No one does that. No one builds their team around a star tight end and a high upside running back. No one does that.
You can say star. You can say star running back.
Okay.
High upside.
Leading the league in receiving yards from running backs.
Okay. Well,
better than Alvin Kamara.
Kamara hasn't gotten going. He just started getting going though.
So, anyways, yes, keep those guys. Keep the two where they're at. It's all going to come down to, for Swift, on how you use him. Where you got him out in space like you did this past game, it's exactly how you need to be using him. And in combination with him coming out of the backfield and running downhill, those are the type of plays and type of players you keep around in the system and build around.
Well, I think it's a big philosophy thing at this point. So if you're going to keep a guy like DeAndre Swift, that's up to these coaches, and really this is up to the GM.
Yeah.
Name's escaping me. You can probably help me out.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll let you figure it out. Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes, thank you. This is really up to Brad Holmes and what he thinks builds a good team, because they're not going to invest their resources, their money in the cap towards positions they don't believe in long term. And I don't think I think it might be a little bit too early with DeAndre Swift to do this, because he still has more years after this of team control. So you can see how this team might develop with him on board, and then see if you want to spend that money on him to keep him. And same thing with Hawkinson. I think when the time comes, you can play out this year, see what the building is like going into the offseason with the draft picks, go into next year, see how the team's responding to these coaches. We're going to know a lot more at that point, and make a more informed decision at that point with two positions that you might not want to invest money in long term, or a tight end. An elite tight end makes a big difference, but the pay scale compared to wide receivers and running backs, or maybe like offensive linemen, is less than a lot of those other positions.
Yeah.
Which I think is the case with them. And running backs, they're cheap right now.
Yeah.
So we either sell them and you just go get the next available guy, or you say, no, actually, we think he's a difference maker. We're going to give him elite money for the position that doesn't hurt the cap as much.
Yep. If it were between the two, I would say sell Swift first. Because I think if and when we bring our quarterback in, having an elite tight end, someone that quarterback can trust. You saw the way Mahomes came in and used Travis Kelce. You saw the way Wentz came in and utilized Ertz. Like, that's a big thing for these young quarterbacks
Brady
to come
Gronk.
into.
It's a fail-safe.
Exactly.
You really do.
You need a tight end that you can trust. Whether it's elite or not, you got to have someone you can trust. And I think Hawkinson is going to be closer to that top elite, but also very trustworthy. That's why I would rather stick with Hawkinson. If you have to choose between the two, that's where I would go. But
you also see the on the field motions and stuff. Swift can get a little bit out of control with how much he hates Jared Goff, and I know we talked about that just briefly, but he shows a lot more emotion on the field, which can really pull a team down in the bad moments. I don't see it as much with Hawkinson.
Yeah, one thing real quick that I wanted to
put needs to block a little bit better.
Yeah, I want to put a bow on the Lions talk with some comments that Campbell had. He said, if this does not continue to sting and burn and taste like you know what, then you got a problem. You cannot allow yourself to go numb. You can't, because I'm not. All it does is just piss me off even more, and it just motivates me to want to get out of this mess. I think those are perfect words that we needed to hear from a coach, because we've seen too many people just get numb to the word lionized. Everybody knows that. The fact that he's not letting himself get numb and just be, hey, it was a good win, and like talk about all the positives and be all hunky dory and good stuff out with the media. It's nice to see a coach that's being a little more honest with it and saying, like, this is important and it sucks losing. I don't care if it's a rebuild or not. This absolutely sucks, and it's going to continue to suck. And I sit and watch Goff, and he looks numb to it already. And I think that's the biggest problem right now. Like we already talked about, the Goff thing is a problem, not just because of the talent, but he looks like he's going numb to the situation.
I heard an interview leading into this game with Goff where he said, how does it feel to be back in LA and at the stadium and everything? And he said, oh, it feels great. It's great seeing all my old friends, great seeing all my old teammates. We've built a lot of memories. I'm proud of the career that I had here, and it's amazing. I love being back here. And it's like, no mention of Detroit, but I love my time. Like, he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He didn't do that.
Yeah.
It also shows how bipolar the Lions fan base is to just be like, they're going to go on 17 last week after the Bengals, but this week.
Sorry, I did not mean to do that.
That was your.
No,
you're giving me a signal.
Slipped.
I get it.
I slipped.
No,
I was going to do it after you're done talking.
And then this week, they just say that, there's no way the Lions are going to lose every single game. Not with this team, not with the way they fight.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Bipolar.
Can you bring the volume down just a touch so I don't blow out? There we go.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. Hot, hot! This is State of My Sports.
So like last week, we talked about Michigan State's win briefly. I feel like we got to do the same thing with Michigan, because although it was kind of one of those games that you didn't really think you're going to learn much, you got to talk about it. You only got 12, 13 of these, so we'll talk about them all as they happen. Michigan's slow start and 10-7 halftime lead was not a problem for Michigan, as they outscored Northwestern 23-0 in the second half for a 33-7 final. Behind another stellar performance by the two-headed monster Haskins and Corum, who combined for 229 yards and a 5.55 yards per carry average. McNamara managed the game well, took care of the football, but still showed his flaws, finishing 20 of 27 for 129 yards. 20 completions for 129 yards. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
the defense was outstanding again against a bad Northwestern team, holding them to 10 first downs, 100 rushing yards, 75 of them on that one play, and 133 passing yards, and forced 2 turnovers. Like I said, just like the MSU game, I didn't nothing that Michigan was going to do Saturday, that was going to make me feel better about their team or raise any concerns. It was just get through it, find a way to win,
just win,
stay healthy, and move forward. Now, the only difference between the Michigan State comparison here is Michigan was coming off the bye, and you would hope to see a little more creativity, which I understand if they're holding back, but I wanted to see something that looked different from the week before. You have the bye week, you use that to try things and introduce things, and it didn't. I didn't see it. It looked like the same old Michigan team. Now, in this situation against Northwestern, you can get away with that. But how in the world are you going to get away with that as you move forward, I think, is the key. And it didn't, I don't think it was going to ease any of my worries, but it was just blah, I guess, if you will. Is that a fair word? Like, I don't even know what word to use. What do you guys think about it?
Same. I think when you look back on that Wisconsin game, I think when we all agreed that their offensive attack had to be a lot more balanced due to Wisconsin's defense, you saw that happen. It may not have been super flashy, sexy, pretty, but it got done. It wasn't just bludgeoning the ball up the middle or, getting the edge, going around the outside, they had a lot better balanced offense when they needed to, and you would certainly expect to see that this weekend.
Yeah.
You have to see it. You are not going to play smash mouth football against this team.
Yeah.
I don't remember the question. What was the question?
What did you think about it? So I think the next question is...
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
No, you're good. You're good. Slow start. Again, only 10 points in the first half. I think that's concerning. You can't get away with that again here moving forward. Another thing, they were 8 of 13 on third down. Yeah, great percentage. Just in the first half alone.
13
third downs against Northwestern.
in the first half.
In the first half. That's a massive, massive problem. You cannot live on third down. You're playing too many talented teams, too many talented players here in the next coming games. I don't care how bad Penn State looked. I don't care how mediocre Michigan State may look at times defensively.
Yep.
You can't live on third down.
No.
And Michigan continues to live on third down against some of the worst opponents they'll play all season. That right there is the biggest concern for me, at least, moving into the tough part of the schedule. Ryan, what do you think about the first half and I guess the third down stuff?
I think when A.J. Henning comes into the game, you know that there's going to be a reverse, a sweep, a jet sweep around the outside. I think when I don't even know anything else. When Johnson's lined up to the outside in short yardage situations, he's going to run a little fade route, and they're going to either toss it up to him or throw back shoulder. I think they're so predictable. I think first and second down, they're going to run the ball between the tackles. I think I can sit there and almost predict at a very high level, if I'm pretending to be defense, what they're going to be running play to play, and be right most of the time, which is not good because that means really good coaches on the other side will take advantage of that as often as they can.
Do you think that's Michigan being passive and not wanting to show more, or do you think this is what they're going to try to do against even the tough opponents?
That's a good question because you did see the flea flicker against Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
So you saw that early on, and that's how they got the game going. Those were the first points that they scored, and so that was a wrinkle that they threw in. I think they are saving their wrinkles for when they need them. The big games: Michigan State, Wisconsin, probably Ohio State. There's going to be a few, and you've seen them go for fourth downs a lot too. So you know that in the back of their mind, they're saying, They're not too concerned with third downs because they're so aggressive on fourth that they can just run the ball another time. They're almost guaranteed to get it because Haskins is so good in those short yardage situations. I don't think that is sustainable long term. I don't think it's going to beat Michigan State. I don't think it's going to beat Ohio State. Probably not Penn State.
Yeah.
Right now is when their season really starts, and that's it's easy to say because they're undefeated up until this point, and it's amazing that they're undefeated. If we take a step back at the beginning of the year to where they are now, nobody would have predicted this. Nobody did predict this. So we shouldn't all act like we knew they were going to be here. So that's great. Yeah, Cade's a winner. We get that. Against these situations, now that we're here, we have to react accordingly. And these slow starts are not going to cut it against Michigan State. We cannot do that. They're too explosive. And if we are not scoring, I don't think you can hold them off multiple possessions in a row without breaking some kind of big play against this Michigan defense.
Yeah. Well, I think you made a couple comments about wrinkles. And obviously they're going to bring in wrinkles that we haven't seen yet. But what wrinkles are is they're just wrinkles. And they're not a mentality. And I think what we're seeing is a mentality that even if you bring in the greatest wrinkle of them all, it's still just one play, and it doesn't change really anything. It doesn't change your mindset. It doesn't change the defensive mindset. It doesn't change what you do. How many offensive plays do you get per game? Like 38 maybe? I don't know.
More than that.
More than
like
that?
that
60
number.
or something? So I don't know.
Way more than that.
Is it? I don't know.
I think they ran the ball 40 times.
Yeah, well, I'm
last
sure.
year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know what I was thinking there. But you know what I mean? You still have the other 98% of the plays. And if you're that predictable, that's going to be a problem. And if you're going to throw in wrinkles, you should have already thrown those in now so they can think about them now. They don't have to think about it. They can prepare for it. They can prepare for different looks and just be ready for it. Any team. I'm not just saying Michigan State. I'm just like, I want to see these. I think it's important to see them, not just for my sake and so I can sleep good at night. It's more so the other team has to think about it more. They don't have to think about anything. They know what works for Michigan. They know what doesn't work for Michigan. They're not going to wake up one day and all of a sudden be able to throw a ball downfield. I'm sorry. They're not. Otherwise, they would have done it already. I don't know.
Cade won't. Yeah, I think if we, again, take a step back, I feel like I've said that a lot today, but, they did just win in a Big Ten game, 33-7.
Yep.
They gave up one big play. Their defense is dominant right now. They're playing out of their minds. And that's not an overstatement. 7 points in a college football game is very limited, and it all came on the one play.
Yeah.
They got down the field one other time, I think, and they went for a fourth down, right? Or did they miss the field goal? I'm trying to remember.
I think they did miss a field goal. I guess I don't remember for sure. I thought they did, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, they did. And they got down there again, but people are not moving the ball against Michigan. They bullied Wisconsin around by the end of the game. Wisconsin, you can say whatever you want about them. They have a great defensive line, and they stopped the run really, really effectively with their linebackers and defensive line. Michigan bullied them by the end of the game. They were pushing them around. So in Michigan's mind, we also have to understand that the two best players on the field for their offense are Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum. So I would love to see both of them on the field at the same time. Just go there because you get the runner and the guy out of the backfield that could break a play at any time. So that would maybe be a wrinkle that they should start thinking about more. But they're also putting the ball in the two best players' hands over and over and over again. And I get we're all sick of seeing just a bland block kind of offense, but that's their best offense at this point with Cade on the field.
Yeah.
Because Cade is a game manager. He's not going to throw the ball down the field effectively. He's actually getting worse down the field. I used to think his best quality was throwing sideline deep balls because that's what he showed early in the year and last year. In the last 3 games, he's been awful at that. I mean, he's been terrible. Overthrowing people like crazy, underthrowing them in the worst spots, has not been pretty. So I don't know. But this is the whole argument for JJ, and maybe that's too big of a conversation.
I think that conversation needs to be put on the back burner at this point. I don't see it happening. I don't see a change coming. I don't think he's going to be more involved this week unless they're down by a lot. They're not going to do it. And at least that's the feeling I get. They're not going to, I don't even want them to bring him in and give him a drive here and there. I don't want the split quarterback. That's the last thing I want. Would I rather see JJ?
I do, 'cause JJ's good.
But I don't want to see it go, all right, 4 for Cade, 1 for JJ, and not let JJ get into a rhythm because I'm sorry, he looked bad in his, 5 throws? And he didn't look great. He had a couple really bad throws. So
wait.
Let this guy get into a rhythm if you believe him.
He
in
overthrew one guy really bad.
Well, he underthrew a guy too.
By the way, side note, JJ's red shirt is burned.
I'm not worried about that. He's too good to worry about that.
I'm not saying worry about him. I'm just mentioning.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it's 6 games, and he's played in all 6 of them. He's taken a snap in all 6 games. So 7 games.
Shoot, man,
Sorry.
they need to play him.
Man.
That was 6. That was the 6th game of 7.
Did you see him roll out in the fourth quarter when he should have been sacked about 3 different times and casually ran around the defense, kept his eyes down the field, pick up that first down,
threw it across his body
to the dime.
I mean, yeah, that's
was a dynamic that Cade will never have.
Yeah, but dynamic plays aren't going to. They're few and far between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get your point. It's not going to happen. We're living in a pipe dream if we think he's going to come in outside of some sort of injury.
If they're
they've
or
given
down
this team
14 points.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it unless they're down 14 points.
According to Harbaugh,
he's
a winner. Cade's a winner. He's earned the respect of his teammates.
Technically, he is.
He is. He hasn't lost. So, I mean, again, this offense is playing around their strengths right now, and Cade's not one of their strengths. So, I'd like to see a little bit more creativity. I think they have to against Michigan State because they're too good to expect that they're just going to bully them and win. I think they're too they got away with that with against Wisconsin because they don't have an answer. They couldn't
Yep.
come back against that. But Michigan State has so many weapons. You better watch out.
Yeah,
Don't give them opportunities.
To put a bow on this game, then we'll get really into the matchup. The big chunk play seems to be a recurring thing for this defense. I don't want to worry about it too much. I think it's obviously a concern heading into this game, the way Michigan State's chunk plays kind of take over a game. The defense it's not worth questioning at this point. Moody missed his first, I think it was his first field goal of the day or the year. Maybe another one, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But he missed one heading into the game. That sucks. 2 fumbles, both of them lost. That's not good to see. You got to take care of the football. Can't be making these mistakes
says that
moving
sucks, but he
forward.
called for it.
I did. I wanted it. I
Watching the
it.
game
I
with
did.
him was so funny. You go, just miss it so we can get it out of the way. Miss it.
Get it out of
and
your
guess
system.
what? Wide right.
Get it out
He
of your
goes, see? There we go.
He goes, good.
Out of his
good.
system.
Claps. Good. Yes. Yes.
The fumbles are the issue, though. You
That's a
gotta,
good thing. Today's like super disappointing.
You got to take care of the football. You can't be turning the ball over here moving forward.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
Yeah, it is, and this is a good state of my sports because we got 7-0 versus 7-0.
It is thick this week.
Number 8 versus number 6. Number 6 is at number 8. Which Michigan State, why didn't you just put them at 7?
No
What are
kidding.
you doing? Like, be smart, AP.
They just advertised that during the World Series.
Did they?
Yeah.
Man, this is oh yeah, because it's on Fox, right?
Sure is.
And
College game day?
Yeah, so both are gonna be there.
And Barstool.
And Barstool. So do they do like a tailgate too or something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
got
they
the
do?
Presidente
panel,
will
man.
be there.
What's that?
They got the whole panel set up. Yeah, El Presidente's there.
Yeah, he'll be
Oh
there.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
It's awesome.
that's pretty cool.
Sam's
We
going.
should set up ours. We should go set up.
Dude, everyone's going to be at College game day. They're going to be at
Hey.
I bet there will be the least amount of people at Fox.
Really?
I think it'll be a ton of people at College game day.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
And then Barstool's got that
Yeah, the
odd,
fun-
crazy,
yeah.
fun following.
I've never watched a Barstool one. I didn't even know they did a
Who's?
tailgate.
Oh, it's really good.
Is it?
Who's on Fox right now?
It's Brady Quinn,
Yeah,
Reggie Bush, right?
Reggie Bush,
Reggie.
Yeah,
they don't
Matt
have
Leinart.
but they don't have a Michigan guy.
No, they do not have a
College
Michigan
game day's got
Charles
Charles
Desmond.
or Des. I
Desmond
always get
Howard.
those two confused. My bad.
Charles is on
He's on Fox. No, he's on
Or
Fox.
Is he on Fox now?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
with
is.
Greg
Yeah,
Olson.
he is on.
So I mean,
Fox.
telling you guys, I don't
Is,
know. It might be a good
uh,
spread.
Man, I'm.
Anyways,
it's pretty cool.
All eyes are on this game. It's so much
All
fun.
eyes are on the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Both 7-0. Like it. This
Sweet.
is. I don't even know if this has ever happened. Honestly, I didn't look it up. I'm sure there's a stat out there. It's probably happened in like the 90s or the 20s or something like that.
Yeah, there's a stat that's floating around about the last time both of them were ranked in the top 10.
It was like
for this matchup.
1964.
Yes, exactly, in the 60s.
Wow.
And I'm not sure if they were
Lions
both
have even won
undefeated.
a Super Bowl since then.
No,
Or not a Super Bowl, a championship.
no,
Because they won it in 67.
no, they didn't. 57.
57. Dang it.
You just destroyed his
If you need
dreams.
any historical facts about football, let me know.
What was 67? Oh, the Tigers won in 68.
It's called the
right?
callback.
My bad. I'm just having one of those days, all right?
It's all right.
All right. I
all
didn't want
good.
to talk about, so obviously it's
Let's do it.
significant nationally. It's a high-ranked game. Everybody's eyes are on this game. With the Penn State losing last week, the Ohio State game, like, man, I bet ESPN is mad at themselves for not taking the Michigan State game when they could have.
Yeah.
But here we are. It's a noon kickoff. I'm not going to stress too much about it. But significance for the in-state, like, what do you guys think? Like, what does it mean for Michigan and Michigan State in the Big Ten, I guess? Like, where are you guys feeling heading into this? Because I got some thoughts on there that might not be very popular. But
Yeah, I don't really know where to start because there's so many headlines. There's so many deciding factors with this, and I think more pressure is really on Michigan with this game. I think Michigan State, with the state of the program going into last year, just the complete mess that D'Antonio left that program, and then Mel Tucker has done an amazing job. Like, he's not going to lose any fans or
Yeah.
from the administrative level. Nobody's going to question him going into this game if he loses. Nobody. Like, he has earned his right to have time. He's guaranteed himself time and respect.
Yep.
Harbaugh is on his last life. And yes, this has been an amazing start to this year. It's been exactly what he needed. But these are the games that people are sick of losing. They're sick of losing the rivalry games in state. They're sick of losing against Ohio State. Yeah. And they're sick of him not winning big games against big-time ranked opponents. All three are right now.
Yeah. I think that you said it perfectly, but like my thought for Michigan's sake, like what this actually means, what a win means, is absolutely nothing. What it means is don't you dare lose this game. I know it's the same thing, winning and losing, but it's not about the win and putting this up on a pedestal. It's about not allowing another loss to erase what you've done with a 7-0 start. I think Harbaugh has dug himself in he's created his own critics by not winning the rivalry games. Hasn't beat Ohio State yet. Hasn't been to Indy. All of those things has caused him to be on the hot seat. He got a pay cut. All of those things, they're real things. Half the people want him gone. Half the people want him to stay. You know what I mean? He's like, it's that situation. And he has put himself in there. And what this is for him is he's at the top right now. And he's going to push one way. He's going to tip down. Like the way I wrote it down, I'm going to try not to look at my sheet and lose my train of thought. But like if he loses this game, he's getting pushed down that spiral staircase, and he is going to fall and fall and fall all the way down to the bottom, because this is exactly what the haters need to fuel their argument. And this is exactly – and really, even if they win, it's not going to answer any questions either. You know what I mean? It's just going to be, yeah, you did what you're supposed to do. This is exactly what you're supposed to do. Like –
don't allow yourself to do what you've done the last 5 years. Once mid-October hits, you get that one loss or that second loss, and the train starts going down the other side of the mountain, and it's going down real fast, and it ain't stopping.
I think to say that a win is not going to gain them anything, I think that's a little bit too much disrespect to Michigan State, because I think they are good enough and respected enough where a win will actually do a lot of benefit. It'll do Michigan a lot of good, and it'll give a lot of confidence to their players to say, look, we just went up against a legitimate opponent, like a really, really good opponent. So within the locker room, within even the administration, I think Michigan State is at a point where that would be a statement win in a way for Jim Harbaugh to say a top 10 opponent this late in the season, undefeated against a program that's just on, clicking on all cylinders like Michigan State has. I think it's a good enough win to add to his resume.
Yeah, I think right here, right now, yeah, he has that opportunity. But let's say it happens. Let's say Michigan wins this game, and the Michigan State ends up not being what they appear to be right now, which is very well a possibility. They could go out and lose to Penn State. They could go out and get destroyed by Ohio State, which I think we're both expecting get destroyed by Ohio State at this point. You could lose 2 or 3 more games, and all of a sudden that doesn't look as good. But if you lose, no matter what happens the rest of the season, I mean, yeah, if miracle happens and you beat Ohio State, that changes things. But I mean, is it really that great of a win, or is it a mirage? I think right here we're both these fan bases are feeling pretty good about themselves. Their chests are puffed out and feeling confident and ready to go. They could both get very humbled here in the next 4 weeks and get that chest poked back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but every single one of them feels like the other team is really good. So
I know right here, right now, but like the landscape, like Big Ten, it very well may mean absolutely nothing when all is said and done. And it's just going to be, the bragging rights that Michigan and Michigan State fans have each other for another year. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it feels really big, but it could get humbling very, very quickly. But and that's where I'm just like, go out and...
I disagree.
Yeah, same. I think at this point in the season, with all the teams that you've seen lose in the top 25 to all these unranked teams, there's a lot worse losses than what Michigan could suffer against Michigan State. And I think at this point, I think the talking heads across the country would, I think, mildly disagree with what you're saying.
Well, let me ask you, do you think there are only 4 teams that would beat Michigan this year? Do you think they're the best team in the country, or the 5th best team in the country? Probably not, right?
I think Michigan can compete against a lot of top teams.
Yeah. Is it 6th? Sorry, 6th.
I think a lot of teams could beat Michigan, but again, and that's where you got to look at this, because I think your point is like, if Michigan State goes and loses to Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, it's like, that doesn't become a very impressive win anymore. But why shouldn't it? Because those are three top-tier teams, complete top echelon type of teams, to then put on your resume and say, look, we're guaranteed a top 25 team. The only teams we lose to are elite. So that's not to say that would just be a trash season and take away from any one of these losses.
I'm not saying it's a trash season. I just mean like
that was too strong. Yeah,
but like I don't know. I feel like right here, right now, it feels massive. And 2-3 weeks from now, it could just be like, oh yeah. We beat unranked Michigan.
We both want to say the same thing.
We beat Michigan, who was unranked at the end of the season.
So that's a hill I'm going to die on. Is in the moment, it's as big as it is. Like in the moment when we were playing Washington, when we were hosting Washington for a night game, they were a top 20, top 25, whatever it was.
They were unranked because they lost 2 games prior.
Okay, sorry.
Right.
Going
into the season.
Okay. That's what made that game big. They still had talent. They were a highly talented. They are a highly talented team. They're maybe not well coached. Maybe the execution lacks, and maybe that equates to not good season, not good opponent. But in the end, that's the hill I'm going to die on. Is when you play that ranked team in that moment, that's what makes that game big. That's what projects your teams into that higher echelon of other teams. This isn't like when you look at the end of the season, you go, well, that's a bad win, that's a bad win, that's a good loss, and that's a good win. Like, it's in the moment, and that's the hill I'm dying on.
Well, that's such a good point.
But then
because
at the same time, say Wisconsin goes on a nice roll and ends up in the top 15. So that was an unranked win then. So now is it all of a sudden a really good win, or was it an unranked win? Like, you gotta play both sides, right? So if that's going to be our argument at the end of the season with our bad loss or good losses,
I think we got to have that argument at the end of the season. Then we can have that argument at the end of the season, but still, this is the opportunity that is presented right now. So we have an opportunity. We meaning either side that you're on, Michigan State or Michigan. You have an opportunity to go beat a top 10 team that's rolling right now, and add something that you haven't had, and create all this confidence and buzz about your program, and add another big-time win. This is going to get somebody to 8 wins with no losses. 8 wins was definitely above the over-under mark for Michigan State.
Well, I think Michigan ended at 7.5. So
I think it did too.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is let's please not discount a big win against a Big Ten team, because as much, again, and this is where I try to stay grounded as much as possible with the state of the programs going into this year, because I'm happy with the wins that we can look at. Say Washington was not a good win. It was a big win. It was a really big win for Michigan to go to game number 3. And then game 3 was a big win to go to game number 4. So this is the stepping stone needed for each one of these programs to get to the next level. And for one of them, it will catapult them to the next level. The other one, it's an opportunity for them to fall flat on their face and go 8-4 for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen. Number one, but I also think that this is the momentum swing. This is the point of the game where we want Jared Goff to play well, and he throws the interception. This is where big players need to turn into legends at these programs. Yeah. And this is the opportunity that's in front of them.
I guess my point is, this is big, very big game. This is huge.
You jumped off that legend thing. I love it.
How they respond after coming off the big win and coming off the big loss, how they respond is what solidifies your program. Because if Michigan goes out and loses this game but wins out, then this game didn't mean nearly as much as we thought it was. If Michigan State goes out and wins and then loses 3 of the last 4 or whatever it is, then it's you know what I mean? Like, it is another stepping stone. And I feel like this is becoming a bubble of this is it. You know what I mean? And I love that. Don't get me wrong. I love that this feels so big. This feels awesome. This is a really cool feeling what we're getting into.
But it's game number 8.
But it's game number 8. And I don't want either team to pretend they won it all on Saturday 3:40 or whatever the game's going to end.
Yep.
Or I don't want the ceiling or like someone to be like, well, you suck. You know what I mean?
I agree
it's going to
I
be
would
in
agree
that
with
situation,
this.
and you have a great opportunity to prove when you go out and lose this game. Prove us wrong that you don't suck. You go out and win this
Exactly.
game. Prove us that you deserve
Yep.
to be a true contender for the playoff. And that's where I'm kind of just wanting to make it a fuller
whichever
conversation.
team loses, I want you to have that back against the wall feel. Go out there and prove every critic, every hater, every fan wrong about your team and respond.
Yep.
You know what's great about this? Both programs right now with these players that are on the teams are getting a taste of big time college football atmosphere.
Huge.
They have so much pressure on them right now. They're learning like with all eyes with College Game Day and Fox and everybody that we just talked about. You know, this is something that like if they go into, let's just say next year when a program okay, I'm just going to throw some scenarios. JJ's there. Everything's clicking on all cylinders. They go to a playoff. This is the type of atmosphere that brings. All eyes are on you. All expectations are on you. Go out and perform. This is how you learn how to handle those situations. It's games like this. So I'm so interested to see how these guys respond. And either way, it's going to be a learning opportunity. Either they perform really well and they're like, great, I know how to do this. This is something that's familiar now. Or they respond really poorly and you say, these are all the things you need to do. Get your mind right. Prepare this way instead. Mm-hmm. And so, like, this is what an opportunity. I'm so pumped about the state of Michigan right now.
It's pretty cool.
With Mel Tucker in this program, I could not be happier with where this program's at. With Harbaugh, like, it's about freaking time. Now go prove it. And both programs are just, there's so much buzz, and I love it.
Yeah. Before we get into the matchups, does this feel like a must-win for Harbaugh in his future at Michigan? And obviously, I already talked about what happens next is what's actually important. But if you go out and go to 0-2 against a terrible program where it was, and Mel Tucker comes in and does what he did to you, like, that is fireable offense in a lot of people's mind. Now, I know there's the rest of the season to unfold, but that puts his back against the wall more than anything else, right? I don't want to say, is it a must-win? I'm not saying it's a must-win, but it's about as damn close as you can get.
I am saying yes.
Yeah?
Without question. This is, in my lifetime, this is the biggest Michigan State game I've ever known. Like, as a kid growing up, I didn't even know there was a Michigan State. Had no idea. Like, as a kid, as a Michigan fan, all I ever knew was, excuse me, the hatred was all about Notre Dame, Penn State, and Ohio State, and that was it. Had no idea until Mark D'Antonio showed up that Michigan State was someone to reckon with. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
And right now, in my opinion, this is a must-win for Jim. This is quite possibly the biggest game of his college coaching career. I mean, at the peak of where he is, quite possibly on the hot seat.
With the stakes that are on the line.
Oh, the stakes are huge. They're so high.
Professionally, personally speaking for him, yeah.
So his college coaching career, this is his biggest game. This is a must-win against a second-year head coach, and a huge rival game. And you are both undefeated, and I don't have to mention it again.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think? Must win?
No, I'm not going to go that far.
Not gonna go that far?
I'm too, I try to be reasonable with these things. If they lose, they're losing to a great program. I think, yes, we want Harbaugh to win because we want him to prove that he's the right coach for this and he can pull it off and all that.
Yeah.
But you can't have both ways when you say that also how they respond is super important coming out of this game.
Yeah.
You can't say that that's also important if this is everything. So I'm going to say that
I agree.
this game, as important as it is, and I agree with everything, literally everything that you said,
exactly.
except that it's a must-win for his job.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm thinking. It's a must-win for his job because I still expect him to lose to Ohio State, so I don't think this is in or out of the playoffs. And so this is a big win for a resume, maybe to keep his job. Maybe it's a big factor in the end. But you tell me at the beginning of the year that the Wolverines have 2 losses and it's against Michigan State and Ohio State. You're gonna take that every single time.
Yeah.
If you don't know who you lose to, you're gonna say, "Great, 2 losses. I'll take it. That'd be a great, successful year."
And I feel like that needs to be the mentality because Michigan, you're not Ohio State. You're not Alabama. You're not.
Put JJ in there, might be.
You know what I mean? But like but that's. I mean, it takes a long time to get that.
Okay,
that whole.
With everything I just said, the dynamic between the quarterbacks is one thing that the fans might turn on Jim Harbaugh for or with.
The fans are ready to push him down.
They're
these
ready
stairs.
for JJ. They're ready for JJ specifically.
And
everybody
you
sees
think,
it.
You think this final straw is the fact that he didn't
If they
pull
lose,
the trigger on
if they
quarterback.
lose this game and he doesn't
That's
pull the
gonna be
trigger, and that's the reason for the loss. Let's
Yep.
just say he throws a couple of interceptions or something. He's not moving the ball, and he does not make that change. Now people are going to be mad and just wait for that to
I think
happen.
even if
he
he makes the change and say they lose, it's going to be he didn't do it quick enough. He didn't give JJ the reps when he should have.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
But
Like,
that would
they're
be normal
ready.
sports talk. That would just be like just talk,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
If
All right.
they go and lose this game and he doesn't react, if he doesn't pull the trigger when because everybody's watching these games as fans, they're all seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're seeing JJ in this really competent quarterback that makes plays versus a guy that struggles to throw the ball past 5 yards down the field.
Yeah, real quick, Mike, and then we'll get into some matchups.
Something that I like that you said is you mentioned something about how long it's taken for Jim to kind of get here if this is where we're going. Who else do you know of that has taken this much time to get there?
I don't think I think Jim has done enough. I think he's been close enough.
Okay.
Personally.
So what I'm getting at is Dabo. Dabo at Clemson took
It took
long
year 6, I think, right? And here we are, basically year 6 with Michigan with the COVID year.
Right.
If you use that as a wash.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're going to the national title.
Yeah.
We're not going to, go win the chip. But in the end, things take time. I mean, unless you're Nick Saban.
Look
which
at Dabo.
would be freaking great.
Look at Dabo.
He got humbled pretty quick here.
He's done all of these with 2 quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Right?
So I do want to get into some matchups.
That's why it's
though.
important to get to JJ because
I want to get
we need a quarterback.
into some key matchups. And if you guys are all right with that, I'm going to go with my first one here.
Do it.
I'm very interested to see how MSU's O-line stands up to Michigan's pass rush. I think MSU's O-line has been good in games that they win, but have also been exposed in the games that the offense has sputtered. I think they have been a big key for the positives and the negatives. Walker's going to get his, and Michigan needs to make Thorne beat them, which is a scary thought because I think he can.
Yeah,
but
he's
when
capable.
you put that pressure on him, that's when he has looked vulnerable and indecisive, not confident. And I think that is going to be the key, at least with slowing down, Michigan State's power. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we know Michigan State.
Big playability.
Yeah, big playability, all that kind of stuff. If Michigan's front can be dominant, the way we've seen against some inferior opponents, limiting Thorne and the wide receivers time to get downfield, time to expose the questionable, untested, I think, Michigan secondary. They've looked good, untested. We haven't played a quarterback like this. We haven't
really
played
good.
an offense like this. I'm interested to see that matchup, and it starts up front. And I know, cliche, right? It's all in the trenches.
Yep.
But this is that game, right?
Yep.
It is that game.
I love that you bring this up because Michigan's strength is their defensive line. They have been dominating every opponent they've gone against with their defensive line. You look at crazy stats like 29 dropbacks and 29 pressures against Wisconsin. Like, that's insane. That doesn't happen. And with Aiden Hutchinson, the way he's playing right now, with Ajabo coming on the other side, like these guys are attacking all the time. So the response from the Michigan State side and their offensive line, but not only them, but also from the quarterback position, they need to be able to respond accordingly because Michigan's going to get pressure. So how are they going to react to that? Is he going to be able to use Peyton Thorne? Is he going to use his athletic ability to get out of the pocket and move and get away from these guys to buy himself time? Because he does really well with time, and he does not. He has been really shaky, which has surprised me. But there's been 2 games where he's been very shaky in the pocket, and because that pressure has gotten to him. And Michigan, that is their strength against one of the question marks from this MSU team.
And I think Chris Hinton and Mozzie Smith are going to be brutally tested this week.
Yeah.
100%.
Is there another matchup that you guys are interested to watch? So I have the kind of stats there, but what stands out to you? We've watched these games, so we don't really need to look at the numbers as much as, I mean, it's fun to and compare them, but we all know. We've all been keeping an eye on each other's opponents, right? We know what we're going into. What stands out to you, Micah?
Michigan secondary and Michigan State's wideouts.
Yeah.
You really think that's a big...
Huge.
I think that's almost equal.
massive.
That's almost equal to what we just talked about with Michigan's defensive line.
I mean, it's
the strength of
highly
them.
athletic on both sides of both of those teams right there. You've got extremely athletic wideouts on Michigan State, and then on the opposing side, you have Daxton Hill, you have Brad Hawkins sitting there on the backside waiting for what they're going to do. This is going to be a huge matchup all game long. I don't think there is a bigger matchup, in my opinion.
Michigan has not seen routes like what Jaden Reed and Jalen Naylor can pull off. I don't think they haven't seen that up until this point. So how they respond is very, very important here. And I will also say where Daxton Hill lines up against this offense, I'll be very curious to watch, because the strength of these guys are on the outside, on the sidelines, and we haven't really seen Daxton Hill line up on the sidelines. He's taken the best wide receivers anywhere in the middle of the field, but he hasn't lined up too much on the outside. And that's for a reason, because we want him to blitz when he wants to blitz and play safety when he wants to play safety. But it's just something interesting to watch where Daxton Hill lines up, see where I don't know how you differentiate between Jalen Naylor and Jaden Reed, because they're both so explosive, so disciplined with their route running, and they can go win a ball as well.
I think the little bit of extra speed Naylor has downplays the speed that Reed has. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really not that big of a difference.
No, it really isn't.
And in the way, Reed's size, like, people get all, like, he's more the prototypical. Well, Naylor's the exact same size. So, but, like, people get in their head, oh, Speedy Naylor is the fast guy. Well, Reed's not much slower.
Reed flies. He's their punt returner. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a
2
reason
touchdowns.
why you have 2 very good wide receivers right here. That's gonna be a very interesting matchup. That, if it comes down to that, in my head, Michigan State has the X factor. Michigan State heading into this game, in my head, has that battle won, and that's where I kind of went with the defensive line, is not allowing the wide receivers to beat your corners, because it's all about time at that point.
You're right, and it's both of those. It's the combination of those, and the big playability could strike at any time. So it's not just one play at a time. It's not one play. It's every play.
Yeah,
that's the matchup.
Yep.
And I feel like your face said you had a different matchup you were super interested in.
I do want to bring up another one, but Ryan, did you have another one that stood out, or do you stick with what we already talked about here?
Let me go through my head real quick.
All right,
it's got to be Michigan's offense. I mean, this running game against the Michigan State defensive line and linebackers. Who's the linebacker? I'm drawing a blank. The linebacker for Michigan State that's been Halliday, right? Halliday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cal
Cal
Halliday is crushing.
He's
it right
coming
now.
into his own.
Oh my, he is becoming dominant. Like, he is becoming the name on that linebacker core, and he is going to play a major role to try to contain Haskins and Blake Corum. And there's a really good thing. I was listening to somebody just the other day where they mentioned the Corum and Haskins are so good at making people miss, and it's things that are just like
It's
tiny
little
twitch moves with their hips. And Haskins, we talked about that for a long time. Blake Corum's the same way. He's not afraid of that contact. He'll get the arm tackle that he knows he runs right through. So tackling becomes even that much more important. And I think Cal Halliday is going to play a major role in this game because if they're relying on athleticism to get to the right spot, these running backs will still step around you and make you miss.
What I think Cal Halliday has done is allowed Xavier Henderson to be able to play a little bit more secondary safety position rather than coming up and needing him to stop the run,
being aggressive,
and needing him to be like always be part of the play. Cal Halliday's come in and be like, look, I got this side of the field, I got this area, you can play your side, I'll play mine,
which is not good against Michigan's wide receivers, because if they don't respect those wide receivers, because there's nothing to respect, that means that they're going to come in and pinch against these running backs in the middle of the field, and they're going to be able to play
the combination,
the way they're going to be able to respond against Michigan the way they need to.
One thing that I find very interesting is the way Cal Holiday and Xavier Henderson hit. They hit hard. And what I think Michigan running backs don't do a good job of, it hasn't really hurt them, is they put the ball out there a little bit more than it's very close to being fumbles. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't fumbled, and I don't want to predict something, but it's like it's always like kind of running outside of their own. You know what I mean? So keep an eye on that if one of these guys can get a lick on one of these running backs and force a turnover, that could be a massive game-changing play. Panishuk as well.
Panishuk's a big X factor in this, but I think the reason I wanted to bring Halliday up is because what has stood out so far with this year is how he diagnoses plays so early on. And he's in the backfield because he's making quick decisions and he's reading the play as it's developing and knowing the play, and he jumps on it early. So it's not all just physical ability, it's also the way he's reading the play. And if Michigan is still as predictable as they have been recently, that's not a good success story.
Yeah.
You know, that's not. If you're just going to do end arounds every single time A.J. Henning comes in, Halliday's going to be there, and Panishuk's going to be. They're both going to diagnose that early, and it's going to turn into a 6-yard loss. And I'm not looking for those kind of plays from the Michigan side to just derail a drive because of a silly, like, predictable play that the other team is prepped for all week. Like, that's not what I want.
Another thing that stands out to me is scoring first is a massive thing in this game, and it's not because I think if Michigan State can go out and score, let's say they go out and get a touchdown, first drive or second drive, and get a 7-0 lead, that is absolutely huge. Not because Michigan State needs to play with a lead, but because Michigan, I don't trust them to be able to come from behind yet. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen the explosive offense. We haven't seen the passing. And if you get any doubt of falling behind and make this team have a really important drive to go down and score fairly quickly, I don't trust it. It's going, and if they can make Michigan, like say you get a 10-0 lead, you go out, you get a touchdown and a field goal. That doesn't sound crazy, like a crazy lead or anything like that. That is huge against this Michigan team because that makes them play left-handed. They're not going to be running the ball. They're fighting the clock just as much as you. And I think that's going to be very important. I feel like if Michigan State can get an early lead, they can suffocate Michigan. They can make Michigan do stuff that they don't want to be doing and throw the game plan out the window way faster than they should. And I don't know. I think that is something to keep an eye on because, man, if Michigan State can get an early lead, let's say 10, 14 points, man, look out. There's tons of drives left. But Michigan will change their ways, and it's going to look ugly. And that allows Michigan State to also take more chances downfield and do what they do well. Instead of running out the clock, they can, boom, big plays after big play after big play. Okay, and that is very concerning as a Michigan fan here.
On the other side of the coin, if Michigan does happen to do that, stall out Michigan State's first couple of offensive drives,
yeah.
Like, where do you think that kind of leads to?
And then that same thing. If Michigan can take an early lead, get the ball, score, and have that, let's say Michigan State gets the ball first, you force a punt, you have a nice long drive, you get a touchdown. You force another punt, and you get another score, 3 or 10 or 7 points. Michigan can start doing what works and start pushing this team around the way that they've pushed around other teams. And I'm not saying that that's because Michigan State isn't as good, but because they're in control now. They can, stick to what works and actually, bully them around. They can push. They can grind it out. And, I don't know, just be more aggressive at times and take more chances.
It's what they're familiar with. And what your point earlier, if you put them in an unfamiliar situation where they're down in the game, then they have a new response that they have to decide, like, what kind of team they are. Do they respond or not? At this point, they're not used to that.
Yeah,
I think that's what both teams are looking to do on both sides of the ball come halftime.
Yeah,
they are going to be looking to make adjustments and the right adjustments and just bludgeon the other side.
I think whoever wins this toss takes the ball because I think both teams want to go down and take that early lead. I think that is very important for both of the mentalities of this team. And I know most of the time people play defense first and are saying, we want the ball at half. I think this is the type of game that you get the ball, you go down and score and make something happen. And
what did you
that's
say?
how important I think the lead is in this game.
I would play defense because I think halftime.
If you were either team?
Either team, yeah. Because I think halftime is going to be so important with making adjustments, like what you just said. So getting the ball back in whatever situation, you're either going to stop the momentum of some other team at halftime or you're going to continue that momentum going into halftime, going into the third quarter. And, yeah, I don't know. I think that's the better way to go. I also think it's really interesting. We've been talking this whole time. We've barely mentioned Kenneth Walker Jr.
Isn't that crazy?
And I think it's because we all see the difference with this MSU team. I don't know if he's going to have these big runs, like the big long runs against Michigan that he's had against other teams. I'm not sure if he's going to do that. He might break one off. That's another, that's something obviously that helps this team if he can be dominant. Then MSU is in a great spot because we keep talking about this wide receiver versus secondary thing and Peyton Thorne comfortable against a pass rush. But if they can dominate on the ground, that's something that Michigan, I think they're equipped to handle it. I really do with the linebacker crew.
Yeah.
How often do you think?
So is that
Michigan,
on Ross's shoulders then?
No, it's not. It's not just Ross. It's
sorry,
Hill.
Mike, I completely. I was just.
You're fine.
It's
good.
Hill Green. It's I don't know. I mean, I think the defensive line with Mozzie Smith and they're all important and they've been playing great football. They really have come into their own. They have an identity at this point. So I think they can stop the run. I know they can get to the quarterback. But the big playability of Kenneth Walker Jr. and his cutting ability to get outside to make a play when there's not a play is going to be something that I don't know, man. It's obviously huge for State. I think it's actually critical for Michigan State. I think it's critical that he is dominant in this game for them to win because you cannot only put it on Peyton Thorne's shoulders. That's not what he's equipped to do.
We've seen that it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, exactly.
Yeah.
He's not equipped to do that all on his own at this point, and maybe he'll grow into that kind of a quarterback, but their best player on their team is Kenneth Walker Jr. They need to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah. So come Sunday, game's over. We are a little hungover, I'm sure. Might be from fun, might be from drowning our sorrows. The reason Michigan State won is because
I still go back to Peyton Thorne. I think if Peyton Thorne can stay cool under pressure, react to Aiden Hutchinson and Ajabo coming off the edges, if he can move around and create time for himself and then destroy this secondary of Michigan, I think Michigan State, that's how they win this game.
Micah?
I can't disagree with you. I was going to say wideouts, but I do worry about our linebackers and Peyton Thorne's ability to run the ball when he needs to unexpectedly. And if there's a wide open field, the man has legs. He can gain a lot of yardage quickly.
Runner.
So I'm not going to disagree with Ryan.
All right, so I said MSU's big play offense was way too much for Michigan's defense. And their balance and playmakers exposed Michigan they haven't faced any of these type of players. They haven't faced they haven't even faced one wide receiver as good as Naylor or Green. Or not, sorry, is it Green? No, not Green.
No.
Why did Reed? Sorry.
Reed. It's all good.
And they haven't played a running back like Kenneth Walker. That's your three, and they haven't even played a quarterback like Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, you're right.
So these are the four best players that they've played this year.
All the skill
and that's
positions.
where I think is going to be a huge issue. There's simply, they could take over the game through that, and it's going to be that. I think they're going to have an early lead that's going to control the clock, control what Michigan does well, and not let them do it. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to make Cade McNamara beat them, and he simply can't. That's what I think the conversation is going to be if and when Michigan State wins. So, same question. Sunday, it's more of a celebration hangover. Michigan wins, and we're talking about why did they win. Micah, you go first.
God, Can I pass this off to Ryan for a sec?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Sorry.
All right, go for it.
Go
Ryan.
for it.
Why does Michigan win this game?
I think the defense dominates. I think the offensive line of Michigan State struggles to contain Aiden, Ajabo, this team, Mozzie Smith. I think in the middle, Michigan is their absolute identity, their strength. I think they're going to bring a lot of pressure from the linebacker, from the safety positions, blitzing as well. And I don't think Michigan State in this scenario will pick that up. I don't think they respond. I think he's going to be under pressure in the backfield all day, and he's not going to respond very well. Peyton Thorne, that is.
Yep.
And he's going to face a defense that is unfamiliar for him. He's responded to 2 decent defenses up until this point and has not looked very good. And I think Michigan overwhelms him in this big game scenario.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm going to say, cliche, both offensive line, defensive line for Michigan will dominate and bully the crap out of Michigan State. I think heading into this season, we questioned Michigan State's offensive line. We questioned Michigan State's defensive line. What are they, like 4th in the country in sacks? Something crazy. Like, they're doing a very, very good job.
Panashuk is like top of the nation right now for
it's
everything.
insane.
Actually, Panashuk has the same numbers or similar,
better numbers,
or if not better than Aiden Hutchinson
across the board.
But what I think we're going to see, if Michigan wins this game, it's going to be because they just absolutely manhandled. They have more talent on both sides of the offensive line. They have more talent on the defensive line. If Michigan wins this game, it is going to be through that, and they're going to absolutely bully the crap out of these teams, or these lines. And I think Michigan will run the ball at will, and I think they will stop the run and just put so much pressure on Peyton Thorne that they don't know what to do. That's what I think will happen if and when Michigan wins this game. Go.
I'm going to second you on that. I think you're going to see it. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be late. I'm going to say around the beginning of the 4th quarter, maybe 5 minutes in or so, you're going to start seeing Michigan's offensive line and the running backs start to take a small amount of control and head down the field and put a win together in the last few minutes.
The way I look at it is Wisconsin on both their offensive line and their defensive line, all in all, like on paper here, is better than Michigan State's defensive line and offensive line. And what did Michigan do to both of those? They bullied the crap out of them on their field in a pretty big game. A must-win for Wisconsin, really. You could look at that game as how important that game was. Michigan did it to Wisconsin. If they can do it to Wisconsin, they can do it to Michigan State. On paper, time will tell, obviously. I don't want to, we're saying both scenarios as if it happened. We're not that confident. Another thing I wanted to say, I think this is going to be a blowout, one way or another. I don't know which way.
Really?
Honestly. I think, the way I look at this is I think...
I hope not. I'd love to see a good game.
If Michigan bullies them the way that it will happen here, it is going to be a massacre. If Michigan State's big playability and balanced offense is as good as we think it is,
could be nasty.
They can expose Michigan and make this game very ugly. I would be shocked if this game is not a double-digit win. I don't know which way, honestly. Obviously, I'm going to lean towards Michigan because I'm a Michigan fan.
No, but you're right.
Honestly, like what works for one team, like I just think it's going to be eye-opening, if that makes sense. One team's going to get exposed.
Can I ask you, when you say double-digit, how big double-digit?
I think.
Are you talking 10 or are you talking like double that?
I'm saying 10 to 13, but it wasn't even that close.
Okay. All right.
To be honest.
Game control,
Yeah.
double-digit win.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's the way I really think. And I know everybody's expecting this close game.
No, that's not a bad take because if Michigan State wins, it's because of their big playability, and they go beat Michigan, and Michigan does not have the firepower to respond.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I could easily see that. That's 2 big plays in a game is the difference in that point. So I could see that happening from the Michigan State side. From the Michigan side, if you're really going to dominate this game from the defensive line, that means that this offense is going to be out of sorts and they're not going to be able to score. And in that case, you're running the game up with your running backs and you can get up big. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think it's a bad thought. In fact, I actually really agree with it. The other positional group that I think there's a massive battle with is the defensive backs of Michigan with DJ Turner. For some reason, DJ Turner in my mind right now is like a huge X factor. He's been getting more and more playing time as we've seen him. And if he can shut down one or actually just play like reasonable defense against these wide receivers, if he can make some good plays against Jalen Naylor, Jaden Reed, that really, really improves Michigan's chances on the outside there, because we keep talking about the big plays on the outside and then containing Kenneth Walker, long term throughout maybe just like 2 big plays. That's the difference with this team.
It's prediction time, boys. What is going to happen? What do you guys think is actually going to happen? I don't want to score. Eventually I want to score, but I want you to tell me what you think is going to happen from kind of start to finish. Ryan, you ready to start?
From start to finish?
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Just give me what you think is going to happen.
Okay, so first play of the game is going to be handoff to Haskins up the middle.
Okay, second play.
Second play will be AJ Henning end around to the left.
All right, so Michigan is going to win the coin toss and take the ball, right? No. All right, really.
I lost, remember? No, I think
obviously we're going to get into our picks.
What a fun game to try to break down, because Michigan, I believe, is the better team. I really do. I think Michigan is the better team here, and I really believe that Michigan State has the better weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that just bizarre to say?
And I just don't know which one's more important. I really just don't know, because I really believe both, like, wholeheartedly. I think Michigan is super deep. They've got it. Their defense has turned it around. I don't really believe in Michigan State's defense, but I don't really believe in Michigan's offense.
Yeah.
It's like, but.
And that's where it's just like something has to give, and this game is not going to be close.
Something's going to teach me like what's important, because I don't know what's important as a coach, but I'm going to learn something in this game.
This is
I will tell you the 2 thoughts that have been running through my mind the last 48 hours.
Perfect.
Okay? Michigan's down 13-3 going into the half. Second thought, Matt Coughlin, 9th-year senior, whatever he is.
33rd
misses 4 field goals.
Comes up huge again. I don't know when, but he comes up huge.
So you think Michigan is going to lose in a low-scoring game?
I don't know. I'll probably let you know in our picks section.
No, we're doing it now. What do you think is going to happen? What's your prediction for this game?
That Michigan State wins.
Yeah.
In a close game.
I like that you said that, because now I can go Michigan, and I don't feel like there's like an unbalance.
Yeah.
Man, I actually really want to say Michigan State wins too, but I'm gonna say that the linemen in the trenches on both sides are going to be the difference in this game. I think Michigan has a better offensive line, and I think they have a better defensive line. And we're going to see how important that is in this type of a game.
So, do you think Michigan's defense line is better? Or do you think Michigan's defense line is that much better than Michigan State's offense? Like, is it the matchup thing? Like, Michigan's defense line against the offensive line,
I think if you take
the defense line,
if you're an unbiased evaluator, and you just say which offensive line compared between the two teams is better, you're going to take Michigan's offensive line. And then you take separately their defensive line and say which defensive line is better, you're going to take Michigan's defensive line. I really, truly believe that. Yeah, without a doubt, actually.
I think Michigan State's defense line is underrated, but they also haven't gone up against anybody quite like Michigan's offense line.
I think Michigan State needs to learn how to tackle a little bit better.
Okay.
Halliday.
And not rely on Halliday.
Is an amazing tackler. He really is. I think he's a stud linebacker. The rest of the linebackers have actually really disappointed me so far. They have a lot of arm tackles that people have been running through lately, and I think Michigan might expose that as they keep running the ball more and more.
What do you think? Mike, you didn't give a score, but Ryan, do you have a score prediction?
I say Michigan wins by 9 or 10. One of the two.
Mike, how much does Michigan State win by?
Is it 1 or 3?
Give me 3. 33-28.
33-28. It's a high-scoring game. All right.
Man, Peyton Thorne's good, though.
He is. But I agree with you that I think Michigan's lines are the key to this game. I really do. And it's nothing against what Michigan State has done. I just think Michigan is farther along, and rightfully so. They're supposed to be. And I think what Mel Tucker has brought in has been good enough for what they've gone against. But I think Michigan is at a different level. If they're not, look out, because they're supposed to be. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think Michigan is going to dominate in the trenches. Cliche, I know. As long as Michigan takes care of the football, the trenches will win them this game. But look out as soon as you get a turnover or two, could change, flip it. But I think Michigan wins this game. I'm going to say 28-14.
Ooh.
No field goals. Just 0 field goals.
Man.
It's like 2 of the best players on each one of the teams. I love it.
Was that good, Michigan? I thought we broke it down really
good. That was
I thought
fantastic.
That might have been the best segment of this history other than our banana boat segments.
I loved it. I
had a really good time. That was fun.
Banana boats of world-class kicking.
I think we're feeling just the energy of this week, and man,
man,
what a week.
I was feeling so sluggish heading into this episode, and then as soon as we started talking Michigan State, I was just like, "Whoo yeah!"
Here we go.
This is
I'm
exactly
sweating my butt
what
off.
this is. Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
I was when we were putting the kids down, I put a shirt on, and Andrew's like, "Are you sweating?" I was looking under my pit. I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "You better change your shirt before your friends come over." I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right."
I'm not gonna do that. And then you went and changed your shirt.
Yeah, I did.
We're just friends, not coworkers.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
We got our picks.
You good? I gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, so I gotta explain Betting Hero?
Yeah, I want you to.
You really gotta go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I gotta go right now. Yeah, I timed it perfectly.
Oh man, what a jerk!
Betting Hero, you gotta sign me up. I signed up. You gotta help me.
Yes. So, all right. For the people that don't know yet, go to bettinghero.com. What they are is basically the Expedia.
Expedia.
Is that still a thing? Is that still a thing? Expedia?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if anybody
uses
uses
the Expedia of sports gambling. What you do, you go on there. They're going to have all of them. You sign up. You put in promo code MIBETS. You sign up. You're in the state of Michigan. You say, "Oh, I live in Michigan." It tells you all of the available sports betting platforms.
Oh, not
all of them.
Not 2, not 3.
No, there it is.
It is a
probably,
laundry
2 pages
list.
now.
Oh, it's a lot.
I mean, you got MGM. You got is Barstool on there? Barstool is on there, right?
I didn't quite get that far.
It might be. They do a lot with Barstool.
Barstool, FanDuel, DraftKings,
Fox, all of them. What they do is they lay out literally all of the best promotions available in that current moment. So it's like, oh well, BetMGM has a. I'm just going to use an example. $3,000 free bet. Okay, well that's awesome. Well, DraftKings has $200 match.
Boom,
yep. Doing that.
Yep.
Like you can lay it out whatever you want. What do you want, a free bet? Do you want a match? Boom, it's there. You can pick it out. Put them in all of them. That's what's great about it is you put in $100 into one account. Yep. You put $100 in the other. And what you can do is you can start shopping around. You can shop around for the best odds because all of these teams have different odds, different spreads, different payouts, all those good things, different promos.
Especially when you have things like the World Series going on.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I heard something like if you put $100 down on someone getting a hit in the World Series in the first game, you win your money back or something of that nature.
There's another I
super easy.
I don't remember which one it is, but there's you bet $5 on an NBA team to win. They hit a 3-pointer, which everybody hits a 3-pointer.
Yep.
At some point, you win $100.
Guaranteed money.
It doesn't matter how your bet lays out, but
bettinghero.com promo code MIBETS.
Exactly. So we almost went through the whole song. Should I just start over? I'm gonna start it over.
Do it.
There we go. We got the picks now. This is what's good. Last week, Micah went 4-3, Kyle 4-3, Ryan 4-3. I went 6-1. I needed that. I needed that.
How did that happen? You've been so
John
bad.
0-7.
I needed
Poor
that
man.
badly. Well, he didn't get his picks in, so I gave him
Oh, that's
0-7
what
just so I
happens.
could jump him. That was my goal. So we'll see what I do this week. I didn't get his pick in yet, but I did get Kyle's. But anyways, Micah, you're leading the way, 32 and 22.
Come on, baby.
Kyle is in second at 29-25. Ryan, 28-26. I am 24-30. John, 22 and 32.
We're losing to Kyle.
Allegedly.
He hasn't even talked
shown
to
up.
us.
You know what's funny is Kyle might be like a little less sportsy than us. He loves the sports teams.
Yeah.
How does he crush his picks?
I don't know. For the record, he gave me the picks on Friday. He took Denver. I didn't give him that point. I said, nope.
Did he?
Yeah. I don't know if he knew, so I didn't give him the point.
Oh, he didn't.
Kyle.
So he actually went 5-2.
He did, but I didn't allow it. I made the executive decision.
Oh, I
on
love that
one.
guy.
All right, here we go. We got Micah's Green Bay Packers at the Cardinals. They are a 6-point favorite on Thursday Night Football.
Wait, who is?
Cardinals
Oh, that's
are a 6-point favorite. Kyle's taking Green Bay. Micah, you're
Oh.
taking Green Bay.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I know, right?
He knows. He knows.
Info coming in late. Give me the Cardinals.
Cardinals, huh?
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going Cardinals.
Yep.
There's a lot of COVID stuff going on with the Packers right now, and if Rodgers doesn't have just a legendary type of game, Cardinals.
I can take Rodgers, 6 points. I'm doing it. I'm taking Green Bay.
Whoa.
All those Thursday night games have been close too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna take that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Next we have the Titans at the Colts. Colts are a 1-point favorite. Kyle's taking the Titans. Micah, what about you?
Colts are underdog, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I said favorite.
I'm
Matt
going to
plus
go
one.
with Titans. Give me the Titans, man.
Ryan.
Man, the Colts are
King Henry.
better than people give them credit
I agree.
for. But yeah, I'm going to go Colts.
Whoa.
Taking
All
Colts.
right.
Give me them.
All right. I'm taking the Titans. Titans are rolling right now. And
Yep.
the way that they started, they need to keep rolling. They don't have a game to give away. This is a big divisional game, right?
Yeah.
So
You know what they say? Remember the Colts.
remember the Colts. Oh boy, we got the Lions. We got the Lions to go.
Not think that was going to get that kind of reaction.
There we go.
Well done.
Remember the Colts. I feel bad. I should have took the Colts because my buddy Justin is a big Colts fan. And I won
You
a
have
lot
a
of money.
Colts fan?
Justin? He's
Really?
He's from Indy, yeah. Speedway, Indiana.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You worked at a Speedway?
No, so the
he grew up by it.
Yeah.
Oh, the
He
yeah.
literally lives like right outside, or grew up outside of,
Oh, really?
just outside the.
You guys been there? It's
Speedway.
pretty cool.
He's
No, I
got
haven't.
he's got all sorts of cool stories
He
about
does.
Indy.
Yeah.
Man, that's
He says it's
sweet.
pretty sweet. Anyways, we got the Eagles at the Lions. The Lions are a 3-point underdog. They're +3. Kyle's taking the Lions, and he said winning.
Whoa.
Lions
What?
to win.
Oh, Kyle,
Michael,
what's up?
what do you say?
Give me the Eagles.
Ryan.
Right now, the Eagles have 3 top, 11, 12 picks going into next year's draft.
Yeah.
So if they keep losing, they are looking pretty good.
So you think that they're in sell mode here?
I don't know.
They sold Ertz. They traded Ertz.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just stalling. I don't know. I'm gonna take the. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the Eagles as well. I feel like what Lions just went through, the emotion, all of that stuff is gonna catch up with them. I look at this game as more like the Bengals side of what we've seen for the Lions, and I think that things are gonna change.
I think
really-
Jalen
it's
Hurts
gonna-
could be that X factor.
I don't like Jalen Hurts.
I know you don't.
He's not bad.
You don't like mobile quarterbacks.
I don't.
You're like, your job is to throw the ball.
Throw the ball. Why are you running everywhere? Throw the ball. No, I could see the Lions winning this game. I really could. Because I don't think the Eagles are that great. But
Same.
the letdown factor, I think, is huge.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Eagles.
Tough call.
And then I'm going to switch the music, and it's going to sound awful for transition, but it's what we do.
We just tell you when things
We
are going
just
to be
tell
awful.
you when things are going to be awful. That's just what I think we say that in the intro. This podcast is going to be awful. We should put that in next time.
We should, yeah.
Anyways, we got number 9 Iowa at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a 3.5-point favorite against the number 9 team. Crazy. Kyle's taking Iowa. Micah.
Give me Iowa. Iowa gets back on track. Wisconsin doesn't have enough in the tank late.
Ryan.
Yeah, give me Iowa.
Wow.
Playmakers.
I'm taking Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is going to just. They're going to be a top 15 team.
They're looking better.
He said on Wisconsin.
Is that what they say? On
it
or
around.
ah? Is it on
On.
Wisconsin or on?
I think they say on Wisconsin.
Oh, is it? Wisconsin at home. Not easy.
Off Wisconsin.
I'm going Wisconsin.
Cool.
Number 10, Ole Miss. I made you say it. Cool. Number 10, Ole Miss. At number 18, Auburn. Auburn is a 2.5-point favorite. Kyle's taking Auburn. Micah, you know you're next.
I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions' next QB, Ole Miss. Matt Corral.
Ooh. Oh, I'm going Ole Miss.
You're going Ole Miss?
Oh, yeah. Number 10. They just had a big day for the former number 10. They're ranked 10th. They're not going to let me down.
Don't tell me he's not going to go with Lane Kiffin. He loves Lane Kiffin.
I love Kiffin.
He doesn't deny. He's just all in.
I'm going Ole Miss.
I love it.
I don't like Ole
love
Miss,
this guy.
but I like Ole Miss. And I don't like Kiffin, but I like Kiffin.
What about
That
Matt
makes
Corral?
sense. I like Corral a little bit. We watched a little bit of him when we were playing catch. All right,
That is hilarious.
last game here before we get into the big one. Number 20, Penn State. At number 5, OSU. Minus 18.5. 18.5. That's a lot of points. Kyle's taking the points. He's taking Penn State.
Give me the Buckeyes. They're going to roll.
Ryan.
18.5. I'm going to say this is the first time Ohio State's been challenged since Oregon. I'm going to go with Penn State here.
Ooh. I'm going to go OSU as well. As Ryan or Micah. I agree with you. Micah.
That person. One of
Where are
the
you
two
going,
of you.
dude? We got the game. What are you? He's just walking out. He's like, I'm not
done.
making the pick.
I'm done.
He's not making the pick. No, we already know he's taking Michigan State. All right, I'm going to take OSU. No,
You just said OSU,
Yeah, I'm gonna go
and now
OSU.
you're debating it.
I'm going OSU.
All right.
I think it makes the most sense. Last but not least, we got the game. The spread is 4.5. Michigan State. Are they being a little disrespected at 4.5? Or is that just like the Michigan factor here? Like, what's going on with that spread?
I think it's the Michigan factor with the betting. I don't think it just
Yeah.
accurately reflects the feeling of which team is better. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more of the voting base.
I mean, basically, you always give the road or the home team 3 points, right?
Yeah.
That's basically saying Michigan's 7.5 points better than Michigan State. That's unfair.
That's absolutely unfair,
Because
and I don't think that reflects that, though.
Yeah.
I really think it's more of the how many bets do you have coming in, and they're trying to
Balance that.
dare
Well,
you to bet.
I mean, it
on
opened at
Michigan
3,
State.
or was it 2.5? Was it 2.5 or 3, Micah? What did it open? 2.5, right? And then it moved up to 4.5. So all the money's coming in on Michigan as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's very, very interesting that they're just kind of moving it. But before we get into our picks, we got the Haze and Blue and the Crushable New England IPA featuring Citra and Mosaic hops and brewed with real blueberries. It's a 5.5% alcohol by volume. 20 IBUs, Haze and Blue. If you're a Michigan fan this weekend, check it out. You can find it at your local retailer or Big Lake Brewing, where it's brewed. Big Lake Brewing. Check it out.
Seriously,
Check out the
go
Haze
get
and
it.
Blue.
These
It's
are
a great
awesome
beer.
beers.
Great
Yeah.
beer. Next, we got the Sparty Party beer. It is the New England IPA with Mandarina, Bavaria, and Amarillo hops. It is a 7% alcohol by volume, 53 IBUs. Another solid beer brewed by Big Lake. Big Lake Brewing. Can't say enough about what they do. We had an episode there, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Great time, great guys.
Great beer.
Great beer. I mean, we loved their beer when we were. Which one were we really? Was it the Hydra? The Hydra.
Hydra was off the easy.
my gosh, that was
So
really
good, yeah.
But all their beers, so good.
Well, I mean,
But-
again, these Sparty
Yeah,
Party,
hold-
Haze and Blue.
I'm gonna hold them up
Yeah,
too.
my
Let's
goodness.
You know
hold-
what?
Hold them up, both of them.
The beer that we forgot to introduce because they were going to let us was their pumpkin beer.
We were supposed to talk about that.
We were supposed to talk about that, and we forgot to. We got all caught up with the guys, had a heck of a time. but their pumpkin beer is off the charts.
farther away.
Go check it out.
A little closer. A little farther away.
Dude, these beers though, I'm gonna have. We got the fridge is full of these beers.
Oh, we're ready.
Ready to drink on Saturday. We're gonna have a great time. Everybody's coming over. We're gonna have a blast. But we got to make our official picks. So Michigan at MSU, they are plus 4.5. Kyle's taking MSU, winning. He says. I asked him, is that because you're a fan or is it legit how you feel? He goes,
King Kyle.
He didn't really have an answer.
Did you really?
So Mikey, you're obviously taking MSU.
I am
You said
taking MSU. Yep.
You said they're gonna win.
I
Earlier.
feel like they've got the edge, and Pepper also feels like they got the edge.
Is Pepper down there?
Pepper's down there.
I was wondering what you were playing with down there. Looks weird from this angle.
Quit playing with the dinghy.
Stop playing with your dinghy.
All right, Ryan.
Very distracting cat.
You're next. What do you got?
What are we talking about?
Spread. Michigan State.
Oh, yeah, that
I
game.
guess you
All right. No, I'm just
Come on, man.
So you said Michigan is going to win by 9 or 10?
Yeah.
All right, so you got Michigan.
Yeah, I'm picking Michigan here.
Yeah, I mean as well. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to bully them. I think this is going to be a good win for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, it's needed. But not must win.
Not a must win. A very, very, very,
But
very,
close.
very, very, very much needed win. Needed win. Not a must win. A needed win.
Needed win.
A needed.
Yeah, let's get our terms
win.
right, people.
Yeah, those were our picks. But before we move on, I did want to give another quick shout out to Big Lake Brewing. They're in Holland, Michigan. If you haven't seen their beers in stores, I mean, their cans just explode at you. Obviously, you got the haze and blue. That thing's beautiful with those great colors. You got the Sparty Party, which is just a good beer, not great colors. But anyways, I mean, check those out.
They have like deer beer. Is that one of them?
Yeah, deer beer.
For hunting,
They have the cotton candy haze, which
haze.
is solid.
It's
The
blue
second
and
time
pink.
around, it's way better. I'll tell you that.
It's great.
I'll tell you
no,
that.
it's really, really good.
Mango haze is solid. The blackberry haze. I mean, they're hazy beers are solid.
I was just at the store. You will find this stuff.
Is that at the Meijer?
Yep, it's
Yeah.
at Meijer. So you're gonna see Founders, you're gonna see Bell's, you're gonna see New Holland, and you are going to see Big Lake Brewing.
Pick it out.
Right there.
If you're not drinking one of those beers this weekend, are you even really a fan? That's my question.
No, you're not.
I don't think you are.
You're not a real Michigander.
You're not a real Michigan fan.
So
You're not
just
a
do
real
it.
Sparty fan.
No, but it's worth it. You're not going to be
It is.
disappointed
They're-
with either one of these beers.
Yeah.
They're great.
It's not gimmicky. They're very, very good beers. I'm trying to hit the beer grade.
Yeah, go ahead and cue that
It's
up for
time
me.
to grade our Michigan beers for this episode, but before
This is
we
where
do,
it
I
gets
want to once again remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They're simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley State University's main campus in downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or you need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for that. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beers from across our great nation, they're individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack. Along with their great selection of craft beer, they have specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. They also have the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family and is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beers for each and every episode. So please check them out and let them know that we sent you.
That's what she said.
All right, let's get into our beer grades. I'm going to start. Just to remind everyone, I am drinking Good Session IPA from Greyline Brewing. Greyline Brewing is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It is on Alpine and Sylvia. I knew that because that's where my sister lives. She lives on Sylvia. It's a small street, so just knock on the door and say, "Are you Brittany?" Next door. Are you Brittany?
I disagree with you.
You'll eventually find her.
Are you my
Brittany.
mommy?
How good is it?
Greyline has really good beer, and what I like about what they're doing right now is they're getting a little more, user friendly. If that's the right
in
word.
with the times.
Is that the right word?
A little outside their norm.
Yeah, yep. They're usually like, and I don't want to mean this in a bad way. They're stuck on their ways. Like they're
good.
They're very good beers.
Yeah,
very very good beers. But they're starting to expand to what maybe is popular.
They've got some hazies.
And
I
they
think
got
they might
hazies.
have a sour.
Yeah. Do they have a sour? Ooh,
They
boy.
have had a sour.
I gotta get a
believe.
sour. But this is a very very good session IPA. It's good.
Good.
I think this is a 8.4, and I'm going to say 8.4
Whoa.
because there are 4 O's in good.
Whoa.
That's really high.
He even has a reason for it, too. That's great.
Go for it,
I
Ryan.
love it. Voyager IPA from Arvon Brewing Company. I didn't give you any information before, so I will do it now. This is
Arvon Brewing Company is in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
All right,
Division.
that's all you need to know. It's 7.5%. This is brewed with Galaxy, Mosaic, and Citra hops. So it's loaded with all kinds of different hops there. Great combination. They kill their IPAs. This is no different. Really, really good. Like a bold flavor to it, but super easy to drink. It's not like too strong or anything like that. Smooth. I'm gonna give it an 8.2, which is lower than it really should be, actually.
Just because you're going
Wait,
through
what?
what is the double? What grade did I give the double? Because I gotta go a little bit lower.
I
than
was
that.
actually
That's what you're
thinking
doing.
that. I'm pretty sure I gave it an 8.3.
He's
So
being super strategic.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were thinking.
I'm like, it's good.
It's good.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
It's good with only 2 O's, which is why I gave it 8.2.
Oh man, I should have done that.
Well, that's what you did.
Voyager, guys, 1-0.
Oh, 1-0, so
Whoa.
8.1. All right, Micah, what are you drinking?
From our good friends at Austin Brothers, I'm drinking their Big Merc, their Triple New England IPA. It's a 10%er. It says it's got insane amounts of Citra and Cryo Citra hops. This
Cryo
is
means cold.
Cryo.
Frozen cold.
Very cool.
Minus 70 to minus 80 degrees Celsius.
Really?
Look it up.
Coming from the scientist. I like that. Well done.
Thank you.
This is a good beer. I think you guys graded this
What
a
was
while
the
ago.
percentage of that one?
10%. And I did not get an opportunity to drink this, and I'm drinking it tonight, and it is very good. 8.3.
8.3. So we got an 8.4, an 8.3, and an 8.2.
Yep.
Wow.
Boom.
Right in there.
Wait, you're drinking Big Merc?
Big Merc.
Big Merc.
Which
Dude.
one thing I love about
good,
that
isn't it?
can
Yeah,
is the
it
Big
is.
Mac like feel, but they call it Big Merc. Like I think that was just absolutely brilliant. Like I mean, they're always brilliant. I think Awesome Brothers does a great job. That was episode 128. That was the big one. That was like one we've been waiting for.
Can't wait for
Michigan
Saturday.
State.
Big. Good.
Thank you guys for recording. Thank you all for watching live. Thank you all for listening after the fact. Go Blue. Talk to you next week. If not sooner.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan
Peace.
and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.